Oh, 5 a.m. All right, so it's 5:04 in the morning, and my family's still asleep. So I've got about 2.5 hours before my day job starts, and I have to take care of the family. So today I'm going to turn a 2-year-old YouTube sales page tutorial into a landing page for my micro SaaS. And I'll be adding a custom font because honestly, I don't like the default fonts from Streamlit because they're so boring. So what I'm going to do is take the tutorial that I found, which is from Coding is Fun, which is a great channel, by the way. I'm going to take the concept of a sales page and convert it to work for my app. So for a long time, I used to think that taking or using other people's code was kind of like cheating, but really it isn't, especially if the repository is public, which in his case he did provide it as public. But really it's like a cup of coffee. Everyone takes their coffee differently. We still need the coffee, so I'll still use his structure and the things that he taught in his tutorial, but we have the ability to add or remove what we don't want. So I'm going to adapt his tutorial to fit my needs. And one of the things I'm going to do, at least in this video, is add a custom font to make it my own. And honestly, I absolutely refuse to ship anything that looks like every other default Streamlit app. And because this is a beta SaaS, I know it's going to kind of have that Streamlit look. But here's the deal. You work with what you're given, right? And my hope is that when you come out of this video, you get the sense that you don't need to be coding for 12 hours a day to build something that's real. You just need to pick one small feature and actually finish it. So by converting this sales page tutorial into a landing page for my micro SaaS, that will be my big win. So let's get our hands dirty, and I'll walk you through my exact process, showing you every reference that I use. And yes, when something breaks, you'll also get to see me fix it in real time. So let's begin. Another thing that I will also walk through is how to add custom fonts to a Streamlit application, as well as how I add a library using UV and how to fix things when they break. So a couple of different things that we'll be covering in this video. Some of this I am going to speed through. For example, the landing page build. Now this is how my landing page looks right now, but I will be using a tutorial from Coding is Fun because he did a really great tutorial on how to create a landing page. In his case, he was using a sales page, and I'm converting it to a landing page. And I'll put his information down below, as well as his GitHub repository, because it did help me with this part. So I want to give him credit for it. And that's why I'm not going to really walk through how to do it, because he did such a great job on that. And so I will speed up here in some spots. I'll just let you know. All right, so I obviously create a new branch for the feature I'm working on. In this case, it is the landing page. I'm also going to create some directories. I've already created the pages directory, but I need a couple more directories for styles. So where I'm going to hold my main.css file for some custom styling. Another directory I will be building is for assets. So the first file I'm going to go ahead and make is for the homepage file. So I'm just going to do touch and the name of my homepage. All right, So now I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the work that I did from taking the tutorial from Coding is Fun. And like I had mentioned before, his tutorial is really great, so just go ahead and follow that if you want to build your own from scratch. I am just going to go ahead and speed through this part so that we can get to the good stuff. So now I'm going to head and work on some of the page configuration. I'm going to use a cheat sheet for emojis from venv so that I can add a little bit of emojis and icons without bringing in any files, like image files. So we're just going ahead and add that in there. So this next line of code is for bringing in my custom CSS file, and this is a function I forgot to add. I'll add the rest of the function a little bit later, which you'll see will cause an error, but I will fix that. But basically what this function does is bring in my custom CSS file so that I can change the default styling that comes with Streamlit. Alright, so now it's time to add the styles. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the styles directory and create my main.css file. Now I am just going to copy and paste some of the styling that I already created. I'll paste it in here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in the code. Now I pulled out a font that I like from Google Fonts. In this case it's Montserrat, so I just bring in the import statement or the import URL and set up the code to impact certain HTML elements inside of my document. And then I also have some different colors for the buttons and different functionalities. A lot of this, like I mentioned before, came from that other tutorial, Coding is Fun, but I just want to show you what that looks like. And now I need to go ahead and bring in the CSS and continue to build out the page. And now it's time to bring in the assets. So I'll go ahead and bring my assets in. So now I'm at a good stopping point where I need to go ahead and test my home page. So the first thing I kind of want to do is make sure that my Streamlit app is running okay. So let me go ahead and see if it is. So the original page works, so let me check the other one, and I get an error. So that error is there's an issue with the image library that I put in there. And it also wasn't an issue the last time I ran this on my test project. So now I'm going to go ahead and figure out how to fix it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do the page setup for Streamlit so that it will load my home page instead of the placeholder content that I had in there originally. So I'm going to first define the page using st page. Then I'm going to create a navigation object and then the code to run the navigation. And when I refresh my page, it is going to the home page, but I already know about this error, so let's go ahead and address this error right now. So there's something odd going on with the library. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the server and investigate. So I run uvpip. I'm basically trying to figure out what I need to look at as far as the commands. So I'm going to do uvpip list to see if I have image, and I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So the issue is I don't have Pillow. So to install Pillow, I just run uvpip install Pillow, and that will bring in the image functionality so that my page doesn't break. Can I resolve that issue? And this is the documentation for Pillow if you're interested, but it has a lot of information in there on how to install it and all the features and things like that. Alright, so let's run Streamlit again to see if that resolved the error with that library. And I have another error. I believe it has to do with the library call, the import statement. So let me resolve that. So what I'm doing here is making sure that I actually have Pillow installed. So I'm going into Python idle and seeing if I have it installed. One way of doing that is to import it and then have it output its version. Now I do have it installed, so I know that is not the problem. So it must be how I am importing it in my script. So let me go ahead and resolve that. So the actual issue is that I forgot to bring in my load function, so let me go ahead and bring that in. So here's where I realized that I forgot to bring in part of my function. So this function loads my CSS files in one go, so I don't have to do it manually. So that was the issue. So you got to see a little bit about how I debug things when I break them or forget something. So let's go ahead and rerun this and hopefully everything works. And yes, so I brought in all the CSS and changed that font. And then I also got, I believe, all of the images working. And now I'm just going to do some general cleanup of things that I saw that I really didn't like or just don't want to fix right now. So I'll speed through this too. So now I'm at a really great stopping point. I believe I've implemented the landing page as best as I could for right now. And in the next video, I do edit a little bit more on this landing page. I actually make a hero section because I thought it just looked better that way, but right now this is working, and so I'm just going to head and commit this branch and add it to my main. hopefully you took something from this, just kind of seeing the workflow that I go through when I'm building something off of, inspiration from other Git repositories, other code, and making it work for my project. And you'll see this again in my other videos where I add different functionality, and I do pretty much the same thing. Obviously giving credit to those that have done it before me or inspired me to adjust it or make changes to my own code. If you found this video interesting or helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you want to continue following me on this journey of building a micro SaaS, please hit subscribe. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.